It's funny because nutrition I never actually used to think was a science.
It's such a wild thing that we're taught to make a Victoria sponge.
Yeah. We don't eat nutrients, we eat food.
Yes.
Not everything has to be perfect and perfectly healthy. Nutrition has this sense of judgment over, and people get intimidated by the fact that I'm a nutritionist. If I ever start asking them about, what did you eat today? There suddenly becomes this like, am I going to say the right thing? Have I eaten the right thing? Yeah. But then I also come from a family who are obsessed with food. We love food. My granny's a chef.
Amazing.
One of my first jobs was in her restaurant kitchen. So I've always grown up with both that love of what's on my plate from an emotive side, a joy of eating side. But I've also grown up as like a real avid scientist. Like I'm obsessed with science, obsessed with the way that the human body works. And even when I was at school, actually, it's funny because nutrition I never actually used to think was a science. I was always like heavily into the organic chemistry, heavily into the human physiology side of things, but we never really got taught the cool side, or what I believe is the cool side of nutrition. And it wasn't until really I went to university and did it as a proper degree that I was like, okay, wow, this is actually really, really nitty gritty stuff.
There's so much there. It's such a wild thing that we're taught to make a Victoria sponge.
Yeah.
But not taught.
But not chili con carne.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how to make a healthy chili con carne, or how to meal prep, or what to focus on to help you run efficiently and optimally and feel the best version of yourself. And I always say as well, it's a phrase that I love to use, we don't eat nutrients, we eat food.
Yes.
So we can't sit down with a plate of vitamin B and D. Like we sit down with a spag bowl.
Yeah.
So how can I make sure, as someone who's in the field with all the knowledge, how can I make people eat spag bowl that gives them everything that they need? And that's pretty much where So Good and then The Nutritionist was really born out of.
So good. And one of my favourite quotes of yours was, are we prioritising happiness as well as health? That's so often missing from that potentially cold nutrition science, because there's great nutritional science. I mean, it's the river runs deep in terms of what's going on in that field. It's divisive though.
Incredibly divisive, and I feel like people get such tunnel vision with the research and the like. They get so obsessed with one singular thing that they forget to think about, okay, is this applicable? Who's actually going to do this?
Yes.
How can we even apply this to real life? And you need to remember that like people live different lives.
Yes.
Some people have kids, some people are at university, some people are on a budget, some people don't have any time. So it's trying to make sure that we're giving everyone all of the information that they need, but in a way that's actually going to be relatable and something they stick to for the rest of their life. And
100%.
Normalize nutrition. That's what we should be doing. Nutrition shouldn't feel like this new thing that you're going to jump on in January and it's like new year, new me. Nutrition should literally be fed into every single day, because we eat every single day. So every single day, every single play is an opportunity to be able to invest in yourself through your food.
If you had to go back and catch old Emily, what would be the changes that you understand now that you would say into that new year component? What would be the best approach entering a new year with all this information going on? Where would you advise old you?
Do you know, it's funny because I actually don't think I would ever change a singular thing about what I've done to get to where I am. But if I'm thinking about advice that I would give to myself or to anyone really in Jan, it's an inspiring time.
Yeah.
And it's actually really amazing to have the ability and the motivation to be the best version of yourself. And I love that for people. And I want my recipes to motivate and inspire people to like jump on the health bandwagon, because being healthy is amazing. It will make you feel amazing. And sometimes I feel like we get this barrier and that a wall comes up where it feels so impossible, or it feels so different to what you think brings you happiness. Yet combine the two. Vitamin Joy is just as much part of health and nutrition as all the other stuff.
New year, new me? These days it feels like every brand is shouting about how supplements are the answer to everything. But before you jump into the latest wellness trend, it's worth remembering that the basics come first. Hydration, good nutrition, rest, and movement. These are the foundations of feeling your best. When you do decide to supplement, what you choose matters. And my advice is to look for products that are free from additives, artificial flavors, and unnecessary fillers. Personally, having seen so many professional athletes utilizing their products, I decided to give Pure Sport supplements a go. Their products are built on science, they're backed with evidence, they've got minimal ingredients, they do what they're meant to do. Whether it's their ultra electrolytes to keep you hydrated and energized, or their unwind product to improve your deep sleep, I trust what they make is developed with care and to work with your body, not against it. As you set your goals for 2025, remember, it's not about quick fixes. It's about small, smart choices that support your long-term wellness. Explore their full range via puresport.co and discover the clean, natural way to feel your best. Use the code EE10 at checkout for an extra 10% off.
Alcohol is not good for you in any way whatsoever. It's there's no health promoting benefits. Even like the phrase, "Oh, a glass of red wine has antioxidants in." I'm sorry, just like eat your pomegranate seeds, your antioxidants, not your red wine. Red wine and alcohol and any wine in particular goes hand in hand with what is my joy and how I spend time with the people that I love. I don't excessively drink. That's my choice. I always create space and days and gaps and make sure that I do things like prioritize my nutrition and my movement around alcohol just to make sure it's that kind of like beautiful art of balance. I'm not an extreme person. I never cut anything out. I love a Cadbury's bar. Of course, it's not full of the best stuff, but I don't want to eat 90% dark chocolate. That's just not what makes me happy.
Yes.
And I think people have to really understand that I can still be healthy and I can still feel like a real valuable nutritionist and do things that aren't necessarily textbook healthy, because not everything has to be perfect and perfectly healthy. But I think we always have to understand our relationship with the things that can be slightly more destructive.
Yeah.
And I think the sobriety movement has created a lot of awareness that people's relationship with alcohol is not good.
Yes.
People feel very out of control. They rely on it as a coping mechanism, as an outlet, as a stress outlet, and they drink to get drunk.
Yeah.
Whereas that Wimbledon pub day for me is such a lovely calendar moment for me and my husband. We walk all the way to Wimbledon. We've got our favourite little cosy pub, fireplace in, glass of red wine comes. We have a couple of little nibbly bits, and then we walk to the shop, we get all the stuff that we're going to make for dinner, and then we'll cook for date night, and we'll make something homemade and lovely, and we'll sit there probably with another glass of red wine. And that for me is so nourishing and wholesome for my soul. And it's so good for both my mind. And I always think life and nutrition and all the stuff has to nourish both your body and your mind. And looking after the two is key.
I think that's a great description. And that sobriety movement has done a great deal of good. But some people get that social well-being, that sense of joyfulness, that ritual that they've adhered to. And we can't demonize alcohol. You're spot on, and there's no healthy dose, but there may be a healthy situation.
Yeah.